It's tempting to look at nightly rates on short-term rental platforms, picture a beautifully sunlit living room, and start multiplying those numbers by 30 days. The marketing pitches tell you it's easy, passive income. But launching a short-term rental means operating a demanding micro-hospitality business from scratch. Forcing a property that was never meant for hospitality into the short-term market leads straight to operational burnout, to negative reviews, and massive financial losses. This matrix shows the stark differences between a long-term and short-term rental across yield potential, capital required, and operational effort. That bottom row catches unsuspecting owners off guard. Turnover cleaning, guest communication, maintenance, and restocks happen constantly. To figure out if a property can actually survive these demands, we run it through PoshSaga's 5-pillar stress test. If a property fails this structural test, you aren't building a profitable business. You are just buying yourself an operational nightmare. The first pillar we test is location demand. This scorecard and map show how a viable location connects to essential hubs like hospitals, universities, or office centers, rather than just vacationers. When your property sits adjacent to these core drivers, you secure consistent year-round occupancy. You avoid the cycle of volatile seasonal spikes. The strict trade-off here is that purely residential, disconnected suburbs rarely work. You have to restrict your search to very specific investment zones. Without an organic, external reason for people to travel to that exact neighborhood, the property will permanently struggle to keep its calendar full. Pillar 2 evaluates layout and spatial flow. Raw square footage is useless if the space doesn't flow well. The floor plan needs excellent natural light, practical bathrooms, and a clear, direct pathway between living spaces. Awkward layouts create daily friction for guests. That friction reliably translates into negative reviews and lowers perceived value. As an owner, you face a stark choice: either reject a property with a poor floor plan immediately, or prepare to absorb massive upfront renovation costs to fix the walls before you ever list it. Guests pay for a sense of ease. An awkward layout puts a permanent ceiling on your property's earning potential. The third pillar is visual appeal. Intentional, boutique-level interior design is the minimum requirement to secure high click-through rates. A bland room gets ignored, while a curated, textured space captures attention. Superior visual appeal is the primary lever you have to justify and sustain premium nightly rates over your competitors. Achieving this aesthetic requires significant upfront capital. It also demands a dedicated, ongoing budget to replace damaged, high-quality items throughout the year. In a saturated digital market, elevated visual appeal is the fundamental baseline required to even enter the competition. Pillar 4 focuses on operational consistency. Running this property requires non-negotiable systems. You need rapid turnover cleaning protocols, automated guest access, and reliable 24/7 emergency maintenance. You also have to navigate strict external boundaries. Restrictive HOA rules or sudden shifts in local community regulations can abruptly shut down a non-compliant operation overnight. This pie chart illustrates the steep operational trade-off. You must either commit your own time to active daily management or surrender a massive 15 to 25% of your gross revenue to a professional property manager. Without automated, highly efficient systems, what looks like a real estate investment quickly becomes an exhausting, low-wage job. Finally, we reach Pillar 5, the financial model. This waterfall chart illustrates a strict profit and loss analysis. Deduct platform fees, cleaning, maintenance, and utilities from gross revenue to find your actual net profit. Placed next to a standard long-term rental profit, the margin is razor-thin. Bookable online doesn't mean genuinely financially sustainable. Massive top-line revenues often shrink so drastically that they barely outperform the returns of a traditional, low-effort long-term rental. If the math does not clear a significant premium over long-term renting to compensate for your time and risk, the short-term model is mathematically invalid for that property. Now we combine all 5 pillars to make a final decision. This quadrant chart maps your operational effort against your potential revenue yield. The traditional long-term rental sits securely in the bottom left. It requires low daily effort but offers a lower overall yield. A high-performing, well-designed short-term rental lives up here in the top right. You put in high operational effort but you extract a high revenue yield. The danger zone is the bottom right. This is where you land if you run a short-term rental that fails the stress test. You absorb high effort for a frustratingly low yield. If you face restrictive HOAs, awkward floor plans, or weak location demand, actively choose the long-term rental model and avoid this trap. But if your property successfully passes all 5 pillars, you have the exact structural foundation required to build a highly profitable, hospitality-driven asset. Follow PoshSaga for advanced boutique hospitality strategies to elevate your properties into curated stays.